Hi, I'm Shine, and this is Divine Shine Tarot with a CelebriTEA reading on Jay-Z and Rymir, the young man who legally pursued a paternity case against him. Is Rymir really Jay-Z's son? In this clip from my live stream, let's see what the cards have to say. Remember, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. No facts, no truth, just tarot. Timestamps are down below, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, and leave me suggestions for readings you'd like to see from me in the future. Now, I ask that the Spirit step forward to divinely guide my vision and messaging for this CelebriTEA reading. Let's get started. So, because we're already in this world, in this topic of Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Roc Nation, there was a question that came through from one of the viewers that asked if, it says, is that Jay-Z's child? So earlier this summer, we did see someone that was taking Jay-Z to court, claiming that he is possibly his father. Again, all alleged. These tarot readings and intros are all for entertainment only. There are no facts, no truth, just tarot. But we did see earlier this summer this young man taking Jay-Z to court, claiming that that's possibly his father. His name is Rymir, the young man who withdrew his lawsuit this summer. He filed it, but then he withdrew because he claims that there was something about needing to change the way he filed it. And he's now 30 years old. And it seems that this is a claim that this young man has held for many years, and he has tried to pursue it legally, but there have been several hurdles or improper filings or whatever legal conflicts they've experienced because his mother pursued the paternity of her son when she was alive. She has since passed, and this young man has continued to pursue the legal action to try to get Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, to take a paternity test. And Jay-Z's legal team has denied paternity. Now, the issue behind it is that if he was involved with the mother of this young man, there is question about her age. If based off the age of this young man, if indeed Jay-Z is the father, then it may have been, I don't know what the terms are. Is it statutory or underage? We could just say she may have been underage at the time that she conceived this child, and the internet streets and speculators believe that that's probably the reason that Jay-Z doesn't want to take a paternity test. Jay-Z's argument is that he just doesn't want to be subjected to this over someone that he claims to not even know. But of course, the speculators have been very inclined to believe that there might be some truth to it because of how much this young man looks like Jay-Z and how often we have heard of this case popping up on top of some other legal things that we've seen popping up this year for Jay-Z, where he has been very vocal to come out against it, against accusations of other accusers have come out legally against Jay-Z this year for other cases unrelated to the paternity one. And in recent Jay-Z news this week, we did hear that a casino that he's been looking to build, and he's been investing in the efforts to get the New York City communities on board for investing in that for a few years and building the casino. That is part of the reason that they say that he came out so strong and aggressive this year against any legal accusations, was to preserve his image in order to keep a positive light on not just himself, but for his company, Roc Nation, which was the one pursuing the business dealings of the casino. And then there was a lot of criticism there as well that the presentation from Jay-Z's team or the Roc Nation team or whatever conglomerate of businesses was pursuing the idea to bring the casino to Times Square in New York City. The criticisms there were that the public criticisms, let me be clear, these are all alleged and speculation from the internet streets, as I say, many pockets of commentary online, felt that Jay-Z often uses his cultural connection, having been a once successful rapper from Brooklyn, New York. And the only reason I say once successful is because he's since just focused on business moves. We haven't heard music from him since he was doing a few projects with his wife, Beyonce. And the criticism is that Jay-Z tends to finesse his presentation of his business pursuits as if he's doing a favor for the communities that he's from, as if somehow because he's from the projects of Marcy in Brooklyn, New York, but yet hasn't lived there in quite a few decades. He lives out in Los Angeles with Beyonce. He uses his roots to kind of appeal to the people that ultimately do not benefit from a lot of his business pursuits. So with all that background and that connection to Meg Thee Stallion, who we just did a couple readings on, it seemed appropriate to squeeze in this follow-up question here about, now I forgot the question. I've just been giving so much background. What's the question? Okay, right. Is that Jay-Z's child? As I said, that was one of the many legal issues that popped up for Jay-Z this summer, this year, and that also is one of the reoccurring legal issues that we've seen pop up for him, for any of you that follow him. So it's worth it to look into what the cards might be saying. And something tells me that we will continue to see some legal brewings around. Oh, am I cut off? Thank you guys, my shiny followers, my beautiful, shiny, sparkly community, for sticking with me through all of the technical difficulties. So I have given enough background. Let's jump right into this reading. Spirit, is that Jay-Z's child? Allegedly. Is that young man that raised the case and whose mother has raised it several times in the past, this young man that looks so much like Jay-Z, is that really his child? This reading is for entertainment purposes only. No facts, no truth, just tarot. Everything allegedly. So let's get on with it. Spirit, is that Jay-Z's child? Is Rymir Jay-Z's son? What? Get out. So first we have the Ace of Swords. Sorry, let me fix my deck here. I think I put it I put it face up instead. Okay, so in this reading, for those of you just joining us, we are in the middle of a list of celebrity readings, answering questions from my many amazing shiny followers in my community. And this is the reading about, is the accuser, the young man, excuse me, that filed a lawsuit and withdrew it earlier this year, saying that he is Jay-Z's son. Is he Jay-Z's son? So this flew out immediately. This is the Ace of Swords, which indicates truth, clarity, honesty. What I get from this card immediately is yes. It seems that yes, it is true that is his son, but there is an injustice here. We have the injustice card for those of you watching the stream on the Red app. There is some injustice around that situation of this young man, Rymir, trying to pursue the truth of the paternity of possibly Jay-Z being his father. The Four of Pentacles, it's about money. Someone's trying to conserve their money. Someone's trying to hold on to their money. There's greed, there is manipulation, there is self-interest with this Four of Pentacles card. And when you're holding on to your coins so firmly, it could actually begin to work against you energetically. Being that greedy and selfish may come to reveal other things. Hi, Amina. Welcome. We're in the middle of the celebrity readings. I'm continuing with a reading, answering a question from a beautiful, sparkly follower about, is that young man Jay-Z's son, the guy that filed a case earlier this year that has since been withdrawn, but it's still worth seeing if what the cards have to say. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. I love that I'm able to be connected with you guys in this interactive format and answer your questions and vibe with you all. So far the cards are saying yes. Yes, he is, but there's an injustice and the lack of clarity is financially motivated. Here we have the Seven of Cups. This indicates a lot of choices, illusions, a lot of decisions that need to be made. And this kind of confusion may be reflective of some of the legal challenges that the young man, his name is Rymir, this might be some of the trouble that this young man is having in terms of, how do I pursue this? How do I bring this case to justice? Ooh, a Judgment. So the Judgment card indicates one's calling, one's purpose. He may be meant to bring this to justice. The young man that's accusing, who he's now 30, so I don't want to say child like he's a baby, but this might be a part of his purpose in this life cycle, where he may be meant to push through to try to bring this revelation to light. But just because he's supposed to do it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be successful, since it does seem that there are many hurdles here. There's a lot of financial power behind this injustice, so that is a difficult hurdle to overcome. Here we have the Five of Pentacles. Interesting that it's here in reverse. The Five of Pentacles in reverse indicates a recovery after a time of financial hardship, mental or health hardships. So this recovery after receiving help may indicate that there is potential for this case to be brought in the future. If indeed he is Jay-Z's son, the cards indicate that Rymir might get some help in filing this properly, since there's so many ways to go about it, probably needs much better legal guidance. And the push that the universe is giving him is that if it is true, which again, all alleged, these readings are for entertainment purposes only, no facts, no truth, just tarot. Have to keep saying that. But if it is true, it looks like he's going to get help to make this right. He's going to be able to get the judgment that he seeks, this paternity test, this truth that he seeks to reveal for his since deceased or late mother, who, again, the big controversy behind it is if indeed this is Jay-Z's son, then at the time that this child was conceived, this young man was conceived, the mother may have been underage. And unfortunately, we did see a legal case like that pop up earlier this year for Jay-Z, which he came out about it very aggressively to shut it down, and the original accuser has since withdrawn her case as well. But the rumblings of people that have known of Jay-Z in the music industry for many years still have suspicions based off of the questionable ages that he had been doing business with or connected to certain people or women from his past, such as Foxy Brown, Aaliyah. Even the age at which he met his current wife, Beyonce, has been called into question. So even though this is a question that is a little later than at the time that this legal stuff was happening, it's still relevant because energetically it seems that there may be something about this or Jay-Z's legal issues in general that may be resurfacing in the near future. So it's worth checking in now so that we can look back on this reading later in the future and see if there was any truth or indication to come out of this. So for those of you just joining, hi, Pihu. I'm doing CelebriTEA readings. For all of you that are just joining us, I'm going to continue or conclude this reading on if this young man is Jay-Z's child. So far, the cards indicate yes, but there is some injustice, a lot of financial backing and motivation behind resisting the legal process and proofs to bring that forward. There's a lot of confusion, or there are many directions that can be taken legally to bring this case forward, which for someone who's just a young man and not a lawyer himself, probably with limited resources, it's difficult for him to navigate that legal system. But it seems that he is meant, part of his purpose in this life cycle is to bring forward this truth, this revelation, and he may actually step into it once he gets help from someone. This Five of Pentacles card that we last pulled indicates that this recovery from all of the hurdles may actually assist him in this calling or goal. So let's continue here. Page of Wands. Delays, misunderstandings, procrastination, distraction, discouragement, maybe even depression. So this young man may feel those things around not having gotten the justice in the situation as yet, being discouraged because of all of the delays and confusions with the legal system. Yikes. And here we finish with the Ten of Swords. Betrayals, sabotage, disappointments, something that cannot be salvaged. So as much effort as this young man pours into this case, trying to seek this paternity test from Jay-Z, it seems that the powers that be behind it, the financial powers as well as any connections to the legal system, may supersede this young man's efforts to try to bring justice to this case. So even if it's true, it seems that unfortunately he won't be that successful in bringing his case again. His hands may be tied with the legal constraints. You know, there's always a statute of limitations, there's jurisdictions. So this may be affecting this young man, unfortunately, in a way that he's just very discouraged and depressed, and ultimately decides to leave it where it is and move on without receiving that justice and exposing that truth that he wishes could come to light. Oh, I am sorry to see that, Rymir. What do you guys think? For those of you that follow, I guess, hip-hop artists, hip-hop news, Jay-Z, and that whole world, do you think there's any truth to it? I mean, the cards just said, and the internet streets have been saying, but everyone still has their own minds, their own perspectives, and can still have a different takeaway from it. So interesting to see what everyone thinks. I'm just checking the chat. So let's move on. Let me see. I wish you all abundance and illumination. May divine light radiate through your life. Keep shining.